Up next, we are going to hit some polls. Polls. So, what is your favorite horror-based video game movie? Is the question we got for you? We gave you a few options. There was Resident Evil, Doom, Silent Hill, and Five Nights at Freddy's. Now, obviously, I played that a little too soon, but I thought it was an interesting selection. There was one clear winner that was far beyond the rest of the choices there, and that was, I'm sure you already guessed it, Resident Evil. To be honest, but between these, I would probably lean that direction too. I still really liked the Silent Hill movie, the first one. I know it's not great, but Resident Evil was kind of a mixed bag of films. There was a lot of fun to be had, but those were interesting all over the place kind of things. But hey, I mean, with the talks of more Resident Evil coming down the pipeline, I'm excited for the new game coming out. That looks badass. We're definitely living in an era where studios are no longer afraid of a video game movie that being, tainting the waters. It wasn't that long ago. I feel everything that was associated with, whether it was trying to do a show or a movie, video game stuff usually came out bad. But thankfully, that's all turned around. We have so many properties that are thriving now. And then, as we've talked about in the news, there's more on the way. So we'll just have to see how this next wave of video game films turns out. But I mean, we're all about it. I mean, if Adam was here, we'd be backing up the Twisted Metal. Was a fantastic series, wildly entertaining, and such a fun adventure. I'm here for it, though. I'm here for it. Up next, what was your favorite Dave Bautista movie out of Knock at the Cabin, Glass Onion, Army of the Dead, or My Spy? So this one I thought was interesting. We got a split between a couple of them, and neither of them would have been my choice. I'll admit. I actually personally would have chosen Army of the Dead. I thought that was a really fun movie, and it's great Zack Snyder action, just the larger than life zombies in Vegas. I loved the theme, the music, and the cinematography was cool. The cast was fantastic, as we've talked about a couple times in the show already. This one I like to throw on once in a while, but it's a fun one. Instead, though, we got something a little different. I was surprised. Knock at the Cabin took 50% of the votes, and then Glass Onion took the other 50%. I mean, not bad Dave Bautista roles. Knock at the Cabin, I definitely see that for sure. Glass Onion, it was a good movie. That wasn't my favorite of the Knives Out stories. I think we got spread a little too thin, and I wanted a little bit more of the mystery out of it than I think we actually got. But that's just my personal taste. I know it did very well. Adam's a big fan of it. But surprising nonetheless. Surprising results. Then this one's a little fun. Which of these movies featuring a shopping mall was the Toasties' favorites? From Fast Times at Ridgemont High, Mallrats, Dawn of the Dead, or Blart Mall Cop? Interesting choices. Now, I know there can be a little interpretation as to maybe which Dawn of the Dead. I'd say that's up to you guys, whatever your gut feeling is. Mallrats, obviously a solid choice. That's a classic. But whether you're going for the original George Romero Dawn of the Dead or Zack Snyder Dawn of the Dead, I feel like it covers both bases. So that's up to you to interpret which one that was. But I still think interesting selection of movies. No Observe and Report. Although, was that a mall? I thought it was a mall. Anyways, I wasn't a fan. But what you Toasties chose was my choice. I agree with this one. Dawn of the Dead. It's still a kick-ass. Some people argue one of Zack Snyder's best films. I think it is still a solid chapter in the of the Dead universe of Romero-inspired zombie films. It's it's still great. The Between the cast, the use of its location itself. I love that whole the gag with the guy on the roof of the gun store with the signs. Like just you had all these moments. The zombie baby. I mean, oh, it's still a great movie. And then that was probably one of the first like blockbuster zombie films that featured like the sprinting zombie. That like it just made it so much more scary and really raised the stakes instead of like the shambling walkers that we're used to seeing classically up until that point. Now I like that a lot of the times zombie movies and games and other media have a healthy mix of the two. Or that now we have different kinds of zombies in different situations and shit like that. But this was such a great chapter in the world of all I think zombie filmmaking period that it's great choice, folks. 100% agree with this one. Dawn of the Dead. Well, I think that does it for. I know we're sailing through this. It helps more when I got Adam here too, and we have a little bit more banter and back and forth and shit. And I not used to doing it, so I'm trying my best with you folks. So thank you for bearing with me.